their ideas to different ways to debut on different shows, all sorts of stuff, and it was everything they were asking for. And, we get new gear every week. We were on every single live event, and everything was, like I said, everything looked like it was going a certain way. And we were always told, we were told not to ask for reviews, because we were told that, your review should be how often you're working. If you're working every single live event, then, you're doing well, you're close. That means obviously we have something we're trying to cultivate here. If you're not working live events, you got to figure out how the fuck to start working live events. And at the time we were released, we hadn't not worked a live event in probably 3 months. And, we probably worked every live event for the most part, maybe, give or take one a week for 6 months. And there were guys that were still there and are still there that, have barely worked 5 live events. And I'm not talking about brand new guys that start with no experience. I'm talking about guys coming off 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of independent experience that still weren't being put in live matches. But, I digress. We were told one thing and then something else happened.
Wow. Now, all right, not to change the subject and stuff. We're going to stay on Bill DeMott and whatnot. But there's been a lot of fucking stories. Like I myself have heard them secondhand, thirdhand stuff, and I can't confirm. Again, you guys were there, so especially 2 come to mind that I want to actually touch base on. That this is the first time like I'm hearing this. Whether or not this is true, I'm curious myself. There was one story that I myself never let out there because it was a serious story. Where I was like, dude, if this isn't true, this is a serious accusation I'm making against this guy. And you guys were there, and you guys can confirm or deny the story. But I heard there's been incidences where apparently he had this in Deep South. I didn't know about this. I never knew nothing about this. Others just told me that Bill DeMott has a handgun, and that he literally kept pulling out a handgun in FCW. Like, I heard that story, and only one person told me that story, so I never followed it up, and it was nobody that was under contract. You guys were there. Did you ever hear anything about this or see anything like that?
Oh yeah. If you heard from one person, I probably heard from 3 or 4. So.
Yeah.
Were you guys there when it happened?
A few people know about that gun incident. A few people know.
You guys were under contract in like where that story circulated. Like, yo, yesterday, whenever Bill took out a gun. Like it was while you guys were there.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Whenever something happens, if you're in that situation, and you know this too, when something happens, generally everybody's going to hear about it. So it's very rare that something complete bullshit is going to go down and then it's going to, circulate like wildfire. But when something legitimate happens, people are going to talk, if it's between one person, 2 people, whatever it is. It's such a tight-knit environment, again, as you know. Word's going to spread, people are going to talk about it. By the end of the day, everybody in the building's going to know about it. So, let's say hypothetically you have something in the office you're not supposed to have in the office. It's kind of on you to not put that out there to show one person, to show 2 people, to pull it as a joke, whatever it is, because that's going to circulate, you know what I mean? So, and of course it does. So if somebody, I was never in the office when, something was produced or anything like that, but I certainly heard stories about other people that were, you know what I mean? It's just something that's like, my whole thing is where the smoke is
circulated around NXT.
Okay, yeah. This is the story that I got. I heard that there was a couple of guys that were hanging out at the building after whatever training was over, and Bill was there. Bill told them to go home. They made like a kind of comment, like, "Oh, we're not going anywhere," or something stupid like that. And then Bill took out the gun, and he's like, "Oh, really?" or something along those lines. And they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then they all kind of left. And I heard one guy told the office or something, and he was released. Does any of that sound familiar?
I don't know anything about anybody getting released because of it. Not that I at least heard of, you know what I mean? And it's like, all I can do is, not to make any kind of defense of anybody or anything like that. I'm sure there's never a situation where anybody was legitimately threatened or anything like that too. But as far as like an inappropriate occasion where, it's something, where it was brought up or whatnot, or it was produced or pulled out or whatever, you know what I mean?
Explain why, I was going to say, explain to me why the head trainer is pulling a gun out. I'm just curious, out of curiosity, I'm just wondering over here.
I just think we're generally sick in the head, obviously.
If I had an explanation for you, I don't think anybody would exactly have an explanation for that. I don't know what the explanation could be. It's pretty much, it would be common sense not to do that,
Dude, I would be scared shitless. Like the amount he beats guys up with his words alone, and he makes them do shit during training to the point where they can't walk. I would be terrified if that guy had a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
You can't do 500 squats, and he shoots you in the knee. He's like, now do them. Like, shit. Dude,
keep squatting.
Yeah, exactly. Keep squatting as he's going around the ring, just shooting everybody in the kneecaps. Dude, that actually happened. Holy shit. Because when I was going on my, I was gonna say rant, but whatever the hell you want to call it, late last year, November, December, like that story, a really, instrumental figure, that was once with the company, literally told me that story, and then I was like, dude, I said, I can't, and I try to get it confirmed from other guys, but the guys I was hitting up with, either were no longer there, or guys on the road that got released or whatever, and they were all telling me, they're like, dude, I was like, I didn't hear about that, and you guys are the first two that were literally there in developmental that have confirmed that story circulated amongst all the boys, and that did happen, that he did have a gun and he pulled out. That is fucking nuts. That alone, like, the talent should have went to the office. Like, even if he didn't threaten the people, the fact that I was like, if he even showed it, it's like, dude, Bill has a fucking gun and he took it out. Like, why do you need a gun in FCW? Is there a burglar that's going to go on Dale Mabry and rob FCW of their hundreds of thousands of dollars in their secret safe in Dusty Rhodes' office? Like, or Steve Kerr?
Tampa's not the safest area, Kev. Tampa.
What are they going to rob in FCW? 6 rings?
Well, the thing is, I think, honestly, Bill had a gun in his office because of you, Kevin. He was scared you were going to come in there one day, and he may have had to use it on you.
Was that when he told me, when he said, you know where I am, let's meet up? He was strategizing.
Possibly. That's what just came to my head.
Guys, did Kevin's name, when Kevin was doing his rants and stuff, like, did that ever come up? Like, were you guys there when Kevin was doing this? Like, did his name ever come up in developmental?
No, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if anything's like slightly controversial, or, like anybody's, people are afraid to talk, you know what I mean? Especially in a group setting, Mm-hmm. A lot of times you're going to hear stuff is going to be like at dinner afterwards, if you're meeting up or hanging out with anybody or anything like that too. But it's just like, I mean, everybody in that building is so job scared at all times, you know what I mean?
Nobody. Gotta play the game. Gotta play the game, everyone.
Yeah.
Gotta kiss a lot of ass.
Like, 2 things I heard was, I mean, and this is all, I'm not sure if, maybe you guys can confirm this, but there's physical, mental abuse, like name calling, like, derogatory terms like faggots or breaking rulers over you guys' backs. Like, can you guys confirm this?
Well, no, I'll kick it off. In 2006, I want to see if my story matches your guys' story, because if it's the same Bill we're talking about over here, in 2006, on a daily fucking basis, this motherfucker, fag, hey fag, what are you, a fag? Get in the ring, fag. If you're a fag,
fag and pussy was part of Bill's everyday vocabulary, honest to God truth.
I mean,
He called everyone faggots. And my thing is, I'm like, oh my God, what if someone in this room is actually a fag?
Statistic-wise, what is it? It's 1 out of every, I think, 5. Is it 1 out of every 5 people are gay? I think, or 1 out of every 10? I think it's the statistics. So in developmental, if that statistic held true, out of 80 people, was there about 80 people, would you say?
Yeah, just about. Give or take. Yeah,
roughly around 75, 80 people.
So statistic-wise, if that held up, that means there would have been at least 8 people in developmental who were bisexual or gay that were keeping it in the closet. And Bill on a daily, I mean, out of 80 people, I would go as far as say at least fucking 1 motherfucker out of 80 of them was gay. I mean,
I actually know of one that actually is gay.
Even better. And on a daily basis, Bill DeMott, the same thing in Deep South, he didn't change, calling people fucking fags on a daily basis. Hey fag. And this is what irks me. The way we started off this episode of the podcast, and we did it to make a point. We actually started the episode off with the Be a Star, Don't Be a Bully campaign, the WWE commercial. That's how this episode's starting off when you hear it. And what do you guys think about that? That fucking WWE, every week they hammer this commercial across the world. John Cena, all these guys, Sheamus stepping forward saying, be a star, don't be a bully, don't harass people, don't beat up people, be a star, just don't be a bully, don't be a bully. Yet, in developmental, their head trainer that they're paying money, and they know this is going on for the most part, but I don't think they know excruciating details, which is why when I went on my rant, that's when they did an internal investigation. Because the reason they don't know what's going on is because no one's going to step forward. The Joey Mercurys and Norman Smileys and these guys aren't going to step forward because if Bill's the head guy, Bill would get them fired. They would go against the head trainer, and Bill would ultimately get them fired, and then it would be a war. It would be an internal war with them. Any of the trainees that step forward, especially if they go by themselves, they're going to be singled out and they're going to be eliminated. Everyone, like you said, job scared. Everyone kept their mouth shut, so nobody knew this shit was going on. and no one's speaking up. You guys are actually the first two that are openly speaking up and confirming these stories. And I actually give you fucking credit for that. I mean, cause for the last 7 years, it's just been me by myself.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things too. So I mean, you're getting more and more people like released now in droves and whatnot, because they're making, more people are getting signed and more people are getting released, and it's basically the machine's just cranking more and more people out. I mean, when you have a situation like that, you have so much shit going on. I mean, it's like, so many little things are going to keep popping up, you know what I mean? When you want to talk about people, like, being called, like, different slurs and whatnot, too, what about every person that was told, if they're having a bad day, go kill yourself, stuff like that? I mean, it's...
Wait, are you saying that?
Every day. There was something like that came out, like, 2 days after, like, Mike Graham committed suicide, where half the boys were, like, so horribly offended, people almost walked out. But, one of those things nobody did. I mean, and that one I don't know if that got out, but I remember people were talking about that a lot more than people were talking about other stuff, because... it was just one of those things. I'm like, I'm not one of these people that's going to get offended if somebody says it's something that hurts my feelings or something like that. I mean, I've never been like that. But at the same token, you shouldn't have to deal with stuff in a work environment on a day-to-day basis where it's just like, stuff builds up in compounds and everything like that, too. And all it does is just add
to on you. It really does weigh on you.
Dude, it's unbelievable because it's like, be a star, don't be a bully. It's like, fucking, fag, you're a fag. Yeah, you can't do it. Fucking go kill yourself. It's like, are you fucking serious?
When cameras are rolling, it's right into character. It's a bunch of bullshit. But then once cameras aren't rolling, it's, hey, faggot, fuck you, pussy, do this, faggot. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, very hypocritical. That's why, like, so it's an act, a big act.
You're preaching to the choir.
Well, what about the physical stuff? Like legit breaking, like, was that a joke that happened once or it happened a few times? Like breaking a yardstick over the back? That's like 1920s schoolyard shit.
He broke
that was like a joke. It started as a joke, and then almost like at some point the joke kind of went away, and it became just kind of a regular thing. I mean, remember the first day it was something along the lines, it's the yardstick. I used to do this back in the day, whatever. And then it just became kind of like an expected thing that kind of just occurred.
Every day it started happening. He even taped it up. He taped his yardstick up.
And it was when like
it hurt more.
Like when you missed the spot or something.
Yeah, you'd miss a spot, you'd like, get over here. Like, actually, he wouldn't even have to say anything. He would look at you and bring you over. You knew what was coming. Bend over, and he just smack you.
Oh, wait, this is the first I'm hearing this. And he would take a yardstick and what, like old school, like he said in the old school fucking school days, just smack you over the back with a yardstick?
Just imagine what you see with kendo sticks, but with a yardstick.
Dude, that's not even like remotely fucking funny. Like that's abusive.
Not at all.
That's complete bullying. Like, this is fucking psychotic.
Hey man, be a star. Be a star.
Holy shit. See, and this is the purpose of this podcast. This is the reason that I'm doing it. I want this to get out because you guys are shedding light. These stories, I didn't know some of these stories, and I'm hearing things second and third hand about other shit, but like the yardstick story, I didn't know about that. The gun story, I heard a rumor by one person. You guys fucking confirmed that. This is the shit that needs to get out there because I'm just praying to God. I mean, WWE's on the move. They're making the move to Orlando, and maybe change is in order. But I'm hoping, if anything, this like opens their eyes, and if nothing else, like really does a deep internal. Maybe if you guys don't believe anything we're saying, I know you guys in the office are fucking listening. There's somebody in the office that's listening to this shit. I know that for a fact.
Most likely.
No, I'm telling you for fact, 100% fact, because they monitor shit. They want to know what's being said, especially in their developmental system, because the guys there aren't speaking up. So for their only way to hear about shit is through the internet or through radios and stuff like that. Then all of this stuff, I mean, these stories couldn't even be made up if they tried. There's too many people, obviously, that would back this and stuff like that. They want change down there, but there's no way they could do it.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that will back us up, but they're scared. So pretty much we're the voice of the voiceless.
Yeah,
they're not going to say shit.
Yeah, you said that before on Twitter, and then I correct you guys. Like, it's more like the voice of the scared shitless. Yeah, that's what it is. I said they're not the voiceless. They have fucking voices, but if they fucking say a peep, if Bill even suspects that they don't even like him in the least bit, and they're not one of his